I don't know if you can see this, but I've just come into the allotment and heard a buzzing outside, and I've been surrounded by a swarm of bees. That's what a swarm on the move looks like. So our resident beekeeper at the allotment has just lost a swarm by the looks of it. That's what a swarm of honeybees looks and sounds like. Here they are, there's a few of them here. See how full they are of honey, ready to find a home. They're going that way. I'm going to follow them. I'm going to follow them and see where they go. Because ordinarily they'll settle on a tree somewhere. You shouldn't be too in danger in a swarm, although it sounds a bit frightening. I'm not going to go right into the middle of it again. It's not a very big one. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see this, but they'll normally come out of the hive and they'll settle. Here we go. Oh, it's a bit worrying because I do have a bit of a fear of bees actually, because I used to be a beekeeper and I had some very bad experiences. Probably my fault. So I'm a little bit nervous, so I'm not too sure how far I'm going to follow them or how deep I'm going to go. But yeah, they'll settle somewhere and then they'll send off scouts to try and find somewhere. You see how they're all sort of zipping about, they're not moving as one. I wonder where they're going. Anyway, it's a bit like, I'm going to go away now. It's a bit like having someone outside the shed suddenly using a strimmer. That's what the sound was. Ooh, ooh. Right, I'm going back now. That was very interesting. A bit worrying, but very interesting. Right, here we go. This is where they've settled. Ah, it's actually not a bad size of a swarm. I won't get too close. But, famous last words of course, swarms are generally quite relaxed. It's not a bad size actually, really. You'll have the queen in there, and then the other bees will be all around. So they weren't searching, they're trying to decide where to settle. Of course, wherever the queen settles, that's where everyone else settles. They'll smell her pheromones and they'll be up there. It's a bit awkward to get to, but should be able to collect that. I imagine he'll be collecting that pretty soon. He's probably gone off to put his kit on, because once I'd followed them and went back, I went back and told our resident beekeeper, because he was actually on site today, told him he's lost a swarm and that he might want to go and make inquiries. So I pointed at him where they'd gone and he came, and he's obviously found them. So there we go. It's probably, oh, well, you can see it's on elderberry or whatever it is. That's probably about the length of my forearm. Actually a bit taller, so if from elbow to tip of my finger, and then more than a hand span across, sort of with fingers outstretched like that. So give you an idea. That's kind of how I measure things. So there you go. There's a nice swarm in there. Pretty little swarm. Now swarms generally, bees are defensive of their hive, but if you have a swarm, then they don't have a hive, so they don't tend to be too defensive. They've also filled their stomach full of honey, so they tend to be a little bit sluggish as well. The thing with swarms is, as long as you leave them alone, generally they're quite alright. I wouldn't get this close to a hive. I wouldn't get this close to a hive with that many or fewer bees in it, because they'd be attacking me, potentially. But a swarm shouldn't shouldn't attack. I've got bees flying all around me and I don't feel threatened. And if you listen to the noise, I likened it to a strimmer. It is a bit like a strimmer, but it's very low. If you've got a nice low hum, you're alright. It's when they start getting that angry hum that you need to worry about it. So there we go. So what he'll do is he'll come and he'll put a box underneath them, give them a good sharp tap, knock them into the box, and then he'll put the box upside down on the ground on a sheet with enough room so that they can get in and out of the box. And if the queen has been knocked into the box, all the bees will go into the box, and then come night time he'll come and wrap them up in the sheet, take them back and put them in whatever hive he wants to put them in. And that's how you collect a swarm. There we go. Beautiful. My hand's about a metre away from them at this point. How about that then? Okay, so the beekeeper has come back and has put, instead of the standard box on sheet, they've got a swarm box, or a little, what's called a nucleus or a nuke, which will be just sort of 5 frames and a little entrance, just a small hive for specific purposes. It could be like this to collect a swarm. It could be to house a small swarm temporarily, or to split a hive temporarily, or you know, permanently, transport, that sort of thing. There's a lot of reasons why you might have a nuke, breeding for example, things like that, swarm control, that sort of thing. So he's used a swarm box. Now he said to me that they can't be bothered to come back this evening to close them up, so he's going to come early tomorrow, close them up and then move them. So that's the plan. But there we go. It should be gone in the morning when I come back. I'm not going too close because I can't be bothered. I'm tired. I want to go home.